The 911 communication systems continue to be an issue in Northumberland County. What are the next steps to take in order to solve whatever problems still remain?
I think, one, I have to investigate more as far as why this project got out of control, why it's not working. Not blaming previous candidates, but I think overall my technology background, as also besides being the owner of Spyglass Ridge Winery and working for Service Electric Cablevision, I think there are some maybe unique ideas that I can bring to the table that can help it. My understanding from friends of mine that are police officers and everything, the system isn't working properly. Now, is it a design flaw? Is it, the fact that funds weren't committed to where they should be? I'm not sure, but until I get in and I research it and get into it, a little deeper. But I think the main priority is to make it work. It doesn't matter. Overall, I'm a fiscal conservative, but I think 911 is an extremely important service for where we live. Also, for all of our first responders, the last thing we need is somebody injured or killed because they have no communications with the new system. So I think overall, if I'm elected to Northumberland County Commissioner's position, that would be one of a major priority. I'm hoping that the existing commissioners solve that problem prior. It really should not go on this long or till this time next year. But if it is, that'll be one of the first things we tackle.
The county has spent more than $250,000 in overtime at the prison since it opened in October. How will you work with the warden and the prison board members to solve this?
One, it's obvious we have to hire. Two, it amazes me being in management with Service Electric and having employees that I take care of now and hire employees for Service Electric. How do you get a very good candidate and a qualified candidate and starting them at $12 an hour? I think that's one issue. I know, a lot of people, do look at that as a living wage. But as far as the prison and what the people are doing there, our prison is really becoming a training ground for other prisons. So they hire people at the lower rate, they train, and then move on to other prisons that are paying more money. Somewhere along the way, we're going to have to match the salaries of the existing prisons, get better candidates that stay. My understanding is we're hiring candidates that don't last that long either, or are issues themselves. So if you don't have the right people in place, we do with the warden that is there now, and most of the other employees that I know that work there are good people, and they live in our county and they work there. The number one problem is getting them the help that they need. The last thing you need are employees in a prison that are guarding inmates that are overworked, tired, and underpaid. I think that's a recipe for disaster. So that's another issue that obviously is going to have to be rectified and really should not sit around to boil to some type of disaster. But I think we need to help those people in the prison. They build a really nice facility. They have a great facility there. It's just that you need to give the employees the help that they need to do their job correctly.
With the hotel study happening and the AOA continuing to attract tourism, where do you see the county headed in terms of economic development over the next 4 years, and how will you assist in accomplishing those goals?
I've been saying this for years. My business that we've created is prime example. We are a tourism business with the winery. We are presently building Three Beards Brewery and Restaurant on the hill. The concerts that we have, the concerts here at the winery, last year we brought over 15,000 people to Northumberland County. And when they come, they bring money. They spend money in restaurants, they spend money at gas stations, they stay in hotels, they take limo services, and then they actually stay. They make a weekend of it. We live in one of the most beautiful parts of Pennsylvania, I feel. I grew up in Bucks County, and where I grew up in Bucks County in New Hope, Pennsylvania, I know what tourism does. New Hope can attract, between that and Peddler's Village and Lahaska, close to 100,000 people on a weekend. We need to leverage the great things and the assets that we have in this county to bring people here. I see it every day, day in, day out in the winery. People that come to Knoebels, people that come to the new AOA park. That is a major asset. We see business every weekend from there. We have people that come in from New Jersey, from New York, from Philadelphia, from other parts of Pennsylvania and local to enjoy that park. I think those are the kind of ideas that we need to leverage and grow upon. Do we need hotel space? Obviously, Northumberland County is kind of hurting in that aspect. I think overall, when you look at the Strip, as the winery owner, and really we fill every bed and breakfast now, but the bed and breakfasts aren't enough for the people that are coming here. The campgrounds in our area fill up. People come here because it's beautiful. We have a river and an inflatable dam that we should be leveraging and making better. I think overall, we really need to think outside the box. Some of those old traditions and old mentality of, of manufacturing everything else. It's not that I'm not going to try to attract as much manufacturing and good paying jobs to the county, but our county is also competing with all 50 states that are giving tax breaks, incentives to corporations to come. So how do you compete? You use the assets that we have now, we leverage those and make it better. Make people want to come here. Like I said, we have so many things here. The outdoors, hiking, camping, the river, fishing, hunting. There's so many things here that we can attract new people to our area. And I'm also seeing people that have been coming to Knoebels for years, coming to our place now for years, that are literally now moving to the area. So it also attracts people to move here because they love what they see and what they've taken advantage of.
What capital projects do you hope to accomplish?
I think overall, tourism-wise, capital projects, it's a very difficult, and it's, at this point, we're at our maximum in our budget. We're at a level where somewhere along the way we have to pay down debt. You can't raise taxes because we're literally at the maximum that you're, by law allowed to charge for the county taxes. My job will be to work with Senator Gordner, who I'm good friends with, Linda Schlegel, we're friends with. They both have fundraisers here multiple times a year at the winery. I support them greatly. Kurt Mosser is another asset of the area. We are truly blessed, and we are extremely lucky to have 3 people in positions that I feel that I can work with. I've known them for years. We have a really good rapport where I can work with the state to bring money into the county to start to really do the things that we have to do. Look at the downtowns. Look at Sunbury. Empty building after empty building after empty building. Somewhere along the way, we need to bring opportunities. And the other thing that I've been harping on from day one, I feel that we need to create a unified front between Northumberland, Snyder, and Union County, and the other adjoining counties. But I think overall, I think we can work together with them. We can eliminate some of the redundant bills that we're paying for, that each county could maybe work together and leverage. So if we have an asset that they can use, it's something else that they don't have to pay for. If there's something that we can use, it's something else that Northumberland County doesn't have to pay for. I think somewhere along the way, we need to get rid of this our county, your county, my county, and we'll start to work together and promote the entire area. My biggest thing is I have a 23-year-old daughter and a 19-year-old daughter. We purchased our farm here in 1995 from my wife's family. They've been here since the 1800s. We moved from the Lehigh Valley where my wife and I were living at that time. We sold our house and came up and invested everything that we had and our blood, sweat, and tears in building a business in this area because we believed in this area. We love where we live and we're not going anywhere. We're committed and invested. But the biggest thing that worries me is when you go around the area where we live, go out to the restaurants, go out to the diners. We have an aging demographic. Now, we're not replacing that demographic with younger people. If you want a thriving economy, somewhere along the way, we need to create opportunities and we need to create jobs for a younger generation. We need to keep our kids here. Every day, I talk to my daughters. My oldest one is going to school to be a doctor. My youngest is going to be an accountant. And both of them want to move out of the area. They want to go to Philadelphia, they want to go to Baltimore, they want to go to a metropolitan area that has more. I get it. You know, they see the benefits of living in this area as most of the kids get older and have children and everything. But to me, I feel that's a brain drain. I think that's a drain on our local economy, and we need to have opportunities to bring these people. Because as we all age, you know, you can't support an economy without a younger generation coming up to infuse capital, cash, and work.
And what kind of opportunities exist for regionalization or cooperation with neighboring counties, and will you pursue those?
Yeah, I feel last week when I spoke to the Susquehanna Valley Conservatives, that organization had all of the incumbents and the new future commissioners that were running for the office. We all got to address the group, and that question was also brought up to me, to the fact, and every single one of the guys sitting at those tables want to work together. There's no reason why we shouldn't be working together. There are things, you know, we built a great prison. I'm sure we can leverage that for other counties to utilize. You know, I think in some ways we really need to start working together. It's redundant money. If we can all work together and unify and make something less expensive for each one of the counties, but our county is spending money on this, their county is spending money on the same thing, and the other county is spending money on the same projects. Somewhere along the way, that's redundancy. And being a businessman, even within my businesses, having the winery and now the future brewery, the greatest part of that is using some of the equipment that exists for the winery for the brewery. I'd be an idiot to sit there and purchase redundant pieces of equipment for the other building. We can the two businesses can work together and utilize the assets of both. That's what we should be doing in the county. We should be utilizing each other's assets and working together to save the taxpayers money and to make it safer and better for the residents of all three counties.